Markets, investors, and corporate America responding to former President Trump's re-election this week. Many CEOs coming out to congratulate the president-elect. So let's get some insight into how companies are positioning for the incoming president. Joining us now to discuss more about that, we want to bring in Rich Lesser. He is Boston Consulting Group's global chair. Rich, it's great to have you back on the program. I'm curious how you are viewing a second Trump term, what that ultimately means for the economy, and what you're hearing from some of your fellow business leaders.
So, we have to have this talk about the starting point first. We were optimistic about the economy in either scenario. The fundamentals of the U.S. economy are quite strong. And the fact that we're going in the right direction on interest rates, we're going in the right direction on inflation, unemployment has stayed relatively low, bumped up a tick, but not much. I mean, overall, there's a good cause for optimism. And I think that the markets, one, like certainty, and just the chance to get a clear outcome helps. And second, obviously, some of the commitments around tax reductions and other things are encouraging. And so I'd say overall, the mood is probably a bit anxious about how some of this will play through. Tariffs affect industries in very different ways. I spent a lot of time in the climate side of things. There's obviously a concern about that, what that means. There's still challenges facing businesses. Pricing power is dramatically lower in a lower inflation economy, and that's created some stress. But overall, I would say there's pretty good level of optimism on the economy, and you see that in the markets, and I think you see that with CEOs.
Yeah, you know, Rich, you bring up a great point, because we certainly do have, I guess, obviously more clarity just in terms of who is going to be in the White House, but there's still just a lot of uncertainty that's lingering just in terms of what some of the proposals and policies, what is exactly going to get pushed through and approved, and how that is going to all play out. I guess then, does that leave still corporate America in almost this wait and see sort of approach then for the next several months?
Well, I think in any administration, when there's such a big change, I mean, it's such a change that I do think people are going to wait to see appointments, wait to see which policies get priorities. Obviously, on the campaign trail, a lot of things get discussed. Quite high levels of tariffs, unprecedented in our lifetimes. Many, many different kinds of tax cuts directed at different groups, businesses, workers. The need to sort of address a deficit, which certainly has stayed very high. And the hope is that it will certainly not go higher and ideally start to come down a bit. So there's many things that are still uncertain. It'd be hard for business leaders to have a certainty around that when no one else does. On the flip side, you can have uncertainty and still have some degree of optimism. And that's the way I would characterize it, specific to the economy. Obviously, there's other dimensions, but when it comes to the economy.